For those of you, again, who are joining me live on YouTube that you are new here, then this timer thingy with this arrow thing pointing it, when that goes off, we'll start talking about the topics at hand. But until then, I just kind of shoot the breeze. And so we just kind of have fun with that. Cool. Awesome. So, Joe, you say maple whiskey? Yes, maple whiskey. Eli, is that how I say your name? Welcome to the show. And Miguel, greetings from Peru, my dear friend. Miguel, I miss you. Cool. Quinn, aw, thank you, Adam. Means a ton. Hey, wait, what did Adam say? I missed it. Where's Adam? Where's Adam? Where's Adam? I still have multiple to on my MacBook. Is that the one? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, cool. Okay, this is gone. We are now done with our timer. And so before we get started with today's topics, let's talk about something I am very excited about, and that is having our friends that are coming over this afternoon. So over here, right over there. So definitely worth a look. If you can, guys, come join us for some crazy. We're going to have Davina and Daniel from Davina plus Daniel. Man, if you haven't heard them by now, they're like super award-winning wedding photographers, husband and wife team that we love and respect. And I told them years ago, they are like top notch, man. Okay, anyways. So they are coming over to DQ World Headquarters right here in Cowtown, Alberta. And so we shall shoot the breeze and perhaps dive into some deep, dark secrets of theirs that maybe they haven't told anybody. I just hope they're going to tell us, but I don't know. Anyways, so we'd love for you to show up for that too. So good. That's going to be happening. Now, what else is happening? That's about all. So let's talk about life. Let's talk about death. Anyways, okay. So, couple of things I should probably update you guys. Jeff, good to have you here. Miguel, miss you too, bud. Fernando, dear friend, awesome. You guys are so good. I need to look at a message right now because it's from my dad. And this is actually what the prayer item's about. And so I really want to kind of fill you guys in on what's happening on life. Okay. Oh, good. Oh, no. Okay. She heard about waiting for ICD that God's good. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. So this is what happened on the last week. Well, the last 2 weeks. And so most of you know, and from my Facebook page, all the crazy stuff that went on, we were in Colombia teaching, and we love the people in Colombia. Between you and me, phenomenal people. Big, warm hearts, just generous spirits, and so open to learning from people like us who are learning from people like them. So wonderful experience for us. But sadly, when I was flying back, I heard word that my mom had suffered not one, but 2 heart attacks. And so I got back, and then I hopped on a plane to Vancouver. But the problem is I couldn't hop on the plane right away because Quinn, my dear Quinn, she also I had to wait for some tests to come back from hers so that we knew that she was okay. And praise the good Lord, she is totally clean. There are no problems. And so for all my Colombia friends that I shared with you, Quinn is totally fine. There is no cancer. We are awesome on that front. Micah, good to have you here. Now, the other part of that puzzle was I did fly out to Vancouver, and I was so glad I did. It was a pretty tough decision because, of course, when you fly last minute, the airlines aren't very kind to you for pricing, right? And so that wasn't exactly the best thing for the pocketbook. But these are family matters, and family matters. And the thing is, I knew that, I can't help in a tangible way because I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the medical field. And so I'm mostly useless as far as tangible things, but I can be there to support. And that's really why I went. And so last week was really quite eye-opening. So the one prayer request I have is for my mom. And thank goodness that she happened to have her heart attacks in the hospital. And so she was under the very best care, and she did not as far as we know, she's very alert. She's well, and so her mind is fine. There was no lack of oxygen for too long, and anyways, thankful for that. But she also needs a pacemaker, and her heart is kind of crazy because when you look at her heart, it goes to 0. That's not good. Not good at all. And so we need a pacemaker in there to help her out. And so we're hopeful that that will happen sooner or later in the next couple of days. It was supposed to be today, but I just got word from my dad that it might not be today. But you know what's so cool? My mom is totally at peace with this. And it's pretty amazing to see her strength, not only physically, but also mentally and spiritually, because she's in ICU. And it was really interesting. Interesting is the wrong word, I think, because there's a tube down her throat to help her breathe. And so she can't talk. And what I didn't realize was also you don't really know what happens to you when you have a heart attack because you black out. And so when she woke up in ICU, I don't think she really realized what happened to her. And so she had a lot of questions in her head. And because she can't communicate with talking, it was really hard for her to talk to us. But anyways, I am so glad that I was there. And what I wanted to thank was people who have gone and invested their lives into being in the medical field. And my mom's been in ICU for a week now, and that seems like a long time. But what's amazing is the level of care. And I know I'm in Canada, and I know that we are blessed to have healthcare like this. And this is the only time that I will not gripe about taxes, right? Because we're covered in ICU. We're covered for the pacemaker. We're covered for all this stuff. There's no cost to us because it's life-saving. This is necessary. It's not a nicety. It's necessary to be life-saving, these things. And so, but what's more than just being a nurse, being a doctor, was the compassion that they showed. And so last night, my mom's heart went to 0 again, or yesterday afternoon. And so my dad actually stayed overnight at the hospital, and, you know, the nurse gave him a blanket. She called my sister to let her know that he's staying there. And, you know, it's amazing to see what pressures are on these people, and how well they perform under that pressure. And what's cool is that everybody's so calm in that ICU. But we're talking about life and death, literally, like intensive care unit. This is the last line of defense, right? I mean, you might get wheeled into emergency, but if you're stable enough, and they put you in ICU when you need 24-hour care. And it's kind of crazy to think that these people invest so much of their life into not just learning how to help people on a medical side, but also how to be compassionate to the families. And it's funny, I'm Asian, right? My parents are Asian, old school Asian. And so I don't remember when my dad has held my mom's hand. And I don't remember, you know, them being quote unquote affectionate. But these are exceptional times, exceptional circumstances. And it was really awesome for me to see them love each other. Like, even though my mom couldn't talk, for her to love my dad and make sure, one of the first things she said, what she wrote, she didn't say anything because she can't say anything, but she wrote to me was, "Watch dad." And my dad, he's got like the roughest skin ever. It's kind of like sandpaper. And so when he touches her, he kind of like goes over, but I'm worried that he's going to go right through her skin. Go figure. And so I tried to tell him, no, just touch and then don't move. But anyways, it was really quite cute because, you know, they love each other so deeply and in their own way. And it's so interesting how people communicate differently as well. But when you take away words, what do we have, right? And it was Kim, I think, who was on a live show earlier when we talked with Tim, my buddy who was on the show, about why do bad things happen to good people. And I asked, how do we help those who are suffering? How can we be there for them? And her advice was to, I forget exactly how she said it, but in other words, just to be there. Learn how to be there with them in silence. And for me, who talks to myself during this show and who likes to make people happy. That was so important for me to hear those couple weeks ago. So thank you, Kim, for sharing that, because I spent most of my days sitting in the hospital holding my mom's hand. And that's all I can do, right? I can't help with the nurses and the doctor's diagnosis. I can relay information to my doctor brother who's in Africa, who can help assess as well and explain to me what's going on. But, that's about all I can do. And I that's enough, right? I think that's enough. Anyways, so that's been heavy, but honestly, we were talking about when one of the first shows, somebody asked me, what's your exit plan, right? What's your exit plan? I think they assumed exit plan from work, right? And so from photography. And let's talk about further than photography again. And let's talk about exit plan. What are you planning to do? Retire? And then what? Die? Right? And essentially, we all have to face death and the questions that come with death sooner or later. And, one of the things that I'm thankful for is growing up in a home that was full of faith in God. And we have a hope that is beyond life, right? And so I think that's something that we all have to start thinking about sooner than later. And when I think about some of my friends who have been touched by loss early on in their life, like whether they've lost a parent or a brother or a child, I think of some of the best people that I know, because I think they understand the joy of living and also the loss of losing one to death. But we all have to face it sooner or later. And so I really want to encourage you guys in our short time on earth, because we don't know when our time is going to come up, to think about, what happens after death? And so this is a really cool thought of the day, okay? And this comes from C.S. Lewis. And I think he's a genius, no longer alive, of course, because death touches us all. This is the thought of the day. Christianity, if false, is of no importance, and if true, of infinite importance. The only thing it cannot be is moderately important. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you guys, if you guys have ever had to think about life or death, to do that now. I mean, and reach out to me, reach out to somebody that you know or trust. I've also got a link here to a church finder. I think that's right over here. So bit.ly/church finder. And that's the organization that we attend, the Christian and Missionary Alliance Church. Or hey man, if you're in Calgary, come to church with us. But I'd love to talk more with you about the importance of eternity and not just earth. So that's all I have for today. It's not too heavy, but yeah, prayers appreciated for my mom. And I will be back at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 2 Mountain Standard. That is 1 p.m. Pacific. So just a couple hours. And I will have Davina plus Daniel here on the show. So thank you guys for being here. And God bless you guys. And I'll see you guys hopefully this afternoon. Ciao for now.